In today's video, we're going to take a look at some of the best-selling fall-inspired t-shirts and sweatshirts on Etsy. I took some notes as to what I think makes them so successful that I'm going to be sharing with you while we browse some of those best sellers. So let's get to it. So when I began my research process, I jumped on over to the Etsy research tool, Etsy Hunt, and I simply typed in fall sweatshirt. I feel like this is a nice place to start. They've got additional filters that you can choose to use up here, but it's not necessarily a requirement. In this case, I'm just going to leave the defaults, and I'm going to make sure that it's sorted by 7-day sales, which it is. This means that the products we see first have generated the most sales over the last week in order from highest to lowest. And what I did is I simply scrolled through, looked at different attributes that I think are driving the success of these listings. Now, the first thing I wanted to share was the list price. As you can see, as we scroll through these bestsellers, they often have very low list prices for sweatshirts. For instance, this first number one bestseller, 243 sales in the last 7 days, list price of $12.40. How are they making any money selling sweatshirts at that price? Well, they're not, right? Most of us, we already know this. The list price is what people see in search results. That's the lowest priced SKU that they're offering in that product listing. Most likely, if we actually click this and view it on Etsy, we're going to find out that they are in fact probably selling maybe a toddler onesie or something. Okay, let's scroll down here and let's see exactly what it is that they're doing to get the price down that low. It looks like, yeah, they have this like toddler option, baby suit. Here we go, baby suit, $9.74, loss leader. It's not uncommon to see people doing this. This is just part of playing the game on Etsy. Etsy makes the rules, we just abide by them. Okay, as you can see, they're using it to their advantage. And with that really low list price, they're attracting a lot of clicks, people that maybe think they're going to get a sweatshirt for that price, and then they in fact have to pay, $20+ for their sweatshirt. This is not uncommon amongst the bestsellers. And in my mind, after scrolling through a lot of these bestsellers and studying them, I really think that a list price around $10, ideally lower, is where you want to be. Okay, notice these, I'm talking about the listings that are generating, 10 plus, maybe even 20 sales a day. In some cases more. You see 240 sales in the last 7 days. That is approximately, whoops, my math is wrong. That is 34 sales a day, right? That is incredible. That would be so awesome. If you're making $3 per sale, you're making $100 a day profit, right? And they're probably making more than that. Now, the next thing I wanted to talk about is what colors are we seeing these products listed in their primary thumbnails? Because the primary thumbnail has a lot to do with determining ultimately what your success level is going to be selling print on demand or anything else on Etsy, but especially print on demand, where we can often offer products in multiple colors. So I studied a lot of these best-selling listings that are generating, 100 or 200 sales in the last 7 days. And I really noticed a lot of military green, okay? A lot of military green, whether it's a t-shirt or especially sweatshirts. I noticed a lot of cream, okay? Cream colored sweatshirts, and even black, which would make a lot of sense because I said these are fall inspired products. And of course, if they're Halloween, you're going to see a lot of the black and then a lot of the orange elements in the design if they're fall or Halloween inspired. So that shouldn't surprise anybody. The next thing I wanted to call attention to was the mock-ups, okay? In my personal opinion, the predominant mock-ups that are really popular right now are these folded sleeve flat mock-ups. Okay, now if you look hard enough, depending on the niche, you might find that they're not using a flat mock-up. For instance, this design says boot scootin' spooky. And I think this is maybe more geared towards women. I could be wrong. I don't know. I guess anybody can wear it, but they put a woman wearing the sweatshirt in their primary mock-up. So regardless of if the design is intended to be worn by a woman or not, when you put a male or a female in the primary mock-up, it's going to seed the potential customer's brain with the idea that maybe that's who's supposed to be wearing it. So I think that has a lot to do with the mass appeal most successful listings, a lot of times using flat mockups, as you see here. And they've got a whole product listing of these Gildan 18,000 sweatshirts and t-shirts mixed in with the flat mockups, okay? At least on the primary mockup, I think it's good to use a flat mockup if it makes sense, if the design isn't heavily slanted towards one gender versus the other. Speaking of brand, I mentioned a second ago that the Gildan 18,000 sweatshirts are extremely, extremely popular. Probably safe to say the most popular sweatshirt being sold right now. And obviously in fall, for many people, myself included, that marks the weather kind of turning and getting a little bit colder. But in addition to the Gildan 18,000s, I wanted to also mention that the comfort color shirts do quite well. Specifically the pepper color, which you see right there. Almost like a dirty black. They call it pepper, right? So anybody looking for that specific product, if you've seen it on these best-selling products like I have, it is the Comfort Colors brand, and it is the pepper color specifically. Of course, there are additional colors available from Comfort Colors as well, so you're not just pigeonholed to selling pepper. The last thing I wanted to call attention to is the print type. Not only are there DTG prints, which are probably the most common in the print-on-demand products, but embroidery is doing quite well as well. As you can see in this listing right here, you've got the embroidered ghost drinking their Starbucks probably, doing their Halloween trick-or-treating. So a lot of embroidery doing quite well. And when I've done previous videos talking about bestsellers, we noticed a similar trend that people really seem to like their embroidery. So here are two examples. This sweatshirt has a pretty healthy price point. Often embroidery products too can command a higher base cost. This one has a price point of $35.99 as you see here. And it's doing roughly 70 sales a week, so about 10 sales a day. And its overall total sales, 226. So they're making a nice amount of money from this listing. And guys, embroidery can be a nice way of differentiating yourself as well, as not every production partner can fulfill embroidery, right? Here is another embroidery design. Now, in my experience, and I sell a lot of embroidery, but I sell it a lot on hats as opposed to the embroidered clothing. I'm not saying you shouldn't sell it on clothing, guys, but I'm also like, I can't be everywhere all at once. I am a one-man show. I am only human, right? That is my excuse, even though I don't like making excuses, but I haven't really tried to sell much embroidery on clothing. I've tried to sell it on hats and I've been very successful, all right? That's how I'm going to put it. The reason I said that is because if I tried to list that sort of embroidery on a hat, and I've done a lot of my fulfillment through Printful for embroidery, well, I can almost guess that they will have a problem with digitizing it, and when it sells and it passes through a graphic designer's desk for digitization so that it can be fulfilled, I have a feeling they will get back to me and say, hey, there's an issue. These lines, these details are too fine. So I'm just saying, when I do embroidery designs, I typically try to keep them simple. I try to keep them more like this one. You see what I'm talking about with this one? The little ghost with his trick-or-treating pail. That one would probably be fine. And then honestly, just another quick tip on embroidery, that little black outline, like I often try to remove any fine lines like that because this design would look just fine without the black outline, in my opinion. I would probably try to remove them, to be honest. So this design's doing about 135 sales a week. That is awesome. And 495 total sales. This product right here is doing 63 sales a week, so almost 10 a day, 238 sales in total. So guys, in summary, there are just so many opportunities to sell print-on-demand apparel. Think about all of the attributes I shared in this video that help make a listing successful in the highly competitive keywords that we searched for in this video, which were simply fall sweatshirt or fall shirt. Consider every attribute because they all matter when you want to break through and rank on page 1 on these high value search terms. So the purpose of me doing this video was to just show you, again, let's spy on who is doing it really well and see what we can learn from them. So I hope you found this video useful, guys. I'm going to drop a link to Etsy Hunt at the top of the description in case you guys want to check it out. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe. Check out my full print on demand course. Now is the best time to join as we're in the 4th quarter. It pays for itself if you use it. It is linked in the description as well. Guys, thank you for watching. I'll see you tomorrow with a new video.